Ever wonder how a country literally on the edge of, well, everything, manages to not only survive, but thrive?
I'm talking about Japan, of course.
Yeah. Today we are taking a deep dive into Japan,
Fascinating stuff.
looking at how its geography, and I mean it's seriously wild geography, shaped its society, its culture,
Absolutely.
its food, its everything. We've got these notes about Japan's geography, and wow, it's a lot more intense than just a few earthquakes.
Oh, way more. To really understand Japan, you got to start with its location. Right there, smack in the middle of the Ring of Fire.
Ring of Fire. Okay, so not some mythical Lord of the Rings thing.
No, no, it's a zone of intense geological activity. It
Yeah.
basically circles the entire Pacific Ocean.
I see.
And it's where the Earth is tectonic plates, these massive, pieces of the Earth's crust collide.
Ah.
And that creates volcanoes, earthquakes.
Oh, so Japan is basically living on a geological roller coaster.
Pretty much, yeah.
I remember reading about the tsunamis they've had. Devastating.
Yeah, incredible forces.
Makes you think, like, how do you even build anything that's gonna, last with all that going on?
That's the thing. The Japanese, they've become masters of adaptation because of it. Like traditional Japanese architecture, it's designed to move.
To move.
Yeah. Flexible joints, lightweight materials. The buildings sway during earthquakes instead of just crumbling.
Wow. So instead of fighting the force,
Uh-huh.
we're kind of working with it.
Exactly.
That's incredible. And I guess that's where that whole, respect for nature that you see in Japanese culture comes from.
Oh, absolutely.
They have this close relationship with nature's power.
You can't escape it there. I mean, think about Shinto, their religion.
Right.
Huge part of their culture. It's all about revering nature spirits.
Harmony with nature, yeah.
Exactly that. Living in harmony with the natural world.
It's like those beautiful mountains, the
Mhm.
peaceful forests we picture when we think of Japan.
Right.
They're not just a pretty background. They're a
Mhm.
constant reminder of how powerful nature can be. Speaking of those mountains, they cover a huge chunk of Japan, don't they?
Yeah, something like 73% of the landmass is mountains and forests.
73%.
Wow. Which leaves very little space for, farmland.
Right. Which means growing food is going to be a challenge.
A huge challenge, yeah. But they found ways, like terrace farming.
Terrace farming?
Incredible. They carved these intricate layered fields into the sides of mountains.
Into the mountains.
Yep. Just to maximize the little land they had available.
Wow, that must have been back-breaking work.
Oh, it was. They often used simple hand tools. Whole villages would come together to build these things.
Really?
Oh, yeah. And then there was the irrigation, getting water up to those terraces.
Oh, right. How they do that?
They'd create these really intricate systems to channel water from mountain streams. It was like a community effort,
It wasn't just farming.
Yeah.
It was a way of life.
It was. And it really strengthened those social bonds.
Wow. So these terraces weren't just about growing food. They were about community, too.
Thank you.
But, I mean, even with all that work, all those terraces, could they actually grow enough to, feed everyone?
That was the issue. They had to rely heavily on what they could grow in those wet, terraced environments.
So rice.
Rice, exactly. It became their staple crop, but it wasn't enough.
They had to find food somewhere else.
Right. And with limited farmland, they looked to the sea.
The sea. Okay, so that explains why the Japanese love seafood so much.
More than just love it, it's essential.
Oh.
It's like woven into their culinary traditions.
Like sushi and sashimi.
Exactly. Those dishes, they were born out of necessity.
Fascinating. It's amazing to think how this challenging geography, it pushed them to be so resourceful, so resilient.
It really is.
And we see it everywhere. In their architecture, their beliefs, their food.
Their entire way of life. It's all connected. And it makes you wonder, how will they adapt to the challenges of the future?
Right. Like with limited land and resources, how will they handle a growing modern society?
Exactly. Especially when it comes to sustainability, self-sufficiency.
Yeah,
That's something to ponder.
it really is. Food for thought, you could say.
Literally.
Thanks for listening.
Yeah, thanks for joining us.